Hey, we're in downtown Lake Oswego. If you're thinking about a move here, you're definitely going to want to check out this video. In this video, we're trying to give you guys a little bit of a sample of what our life is like living here, right here in Lake Oswego. All right, let's go. Hey everybody, my name's Cullen, and this is Bran at Cullen, and I'm a local real estate agent right here in Lake Oswego. If you guys are thinking about a move here, go ahead and reach out, give me a call. My number is right down there. So today we're in front of Morse Coffee. And what I want to do with this video is give you guys a glimpse of what it's like living here just on a daily basis in Lake Oswego. And today we're kind of focusing on downtown Lake Oswego. And right now we're in front of Morse Coffee. Now this is Bran and I's favorite local coffee shop.
I think that sort of is a great segue into one of the things I've been thinking about as we were driving down here this morning about what it's really like to live here. It's a small town. Yes, there are a number of coffee shops, but like your choices aren't endless. And there's actually something really freeing about that. Research has shown that having too many options actually isn't good for our happiness. So I was just thinking as we were coming down here, like there's something about living in a small town where there are like a few good coffee shops and a few good pizza places, and your choices aren't endless. And there's like a peace about that for me living here.
That's true, and that's good to know. So that is one thing.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, what's going on with this conversation? Okay, and I think following what you're saying here, and that's a good point. That's not what you're gonna get here in downtown Lake Oswego. There are only a few choices. This isn't a huge town.
But, okay, so we just went to Morse
example.
Coffee. Here's Pete's, and then across the street over there is Blue Star.
Blue Star, which does have really good donuts as
And
well.
good coffee.
I've actually only had their coffee there once, but I have had their donuts multiple times.
This actually is part of what it's like to live in a small town, is to be simplified. How far apart things are, how many options there are, how many things there are to do in a really positive way.
Oh, and here's the train right up here. This is something good to know. If you're moving to Lake Oswego, there is a train that runs right through town. You might be able to hear it a little bit right now, but it runs right there on the south side of downtown. And right behind some of the most expensive real estate here in Oregon, which is kind of crazy. And a lot of people, if you're not aware of it, it's just something you got to get used to. We'll walk over here and just get a quick shot of it. And what do you think about the train?
We're racing to get you a view of the train.
What do you think about the train? And having it here, does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me because at our house we just hear it very, very faintly.
And here's the very end of it.
Very exciting for our kids and all the kids when you're down here for the farmers market on the weekends and a train goes by, the kids like go crazy. I personally would not want to live right next to it, and like Aaron said, a lot of the nicest houses in Lake Oswego really butt right up to the train tracks. Maybe we should stop talking for a minute.
Yeah. Okay, the train sound just stopped.
But it doesn't bother me because I grew up in Flagstaff, and a train goes right through there too, like a handful of blocks from our house. And I think you do get used to it.
Yeah, you definitely get used to it. We're on the south side of the lake in Palisades, West Ridge area. And you hear it faintly, you can hear it. And I honestly don't hear it at night or anything like that. You know, and sometimes it does happen at night. And the train is pretty infrequent here. It's usually maximum of like 3 times per day, but it is there. So if you're gonna be on the north side of the lake, really close to the lake, and the train goes literally like right close to the lake. You can pull it up on the map and follow it here from downtown. So that is something just to be aware of. It's some of the most expensive real estate here on the lake is right behind a railroad track. So just kind of comes with the territory. I think if you're just gonna be in Portland in general, you know, it was a more industrial city, so there's a lot of train tracks that are still functioning today all around. Let's talk about Millennium Plaza Park, where we're at right now, which is right here in downtown Lake Oswego.
So this is one of my favorite places. This is where our farmers market is on Saturday mornings all summer. My daughter actually asked the other day, when does the farmers market start? And it made me so happy because this really is a fun place to come. On summer mornings, we usually run into people down here, other families from school or ballet, and everyone comes out here. Again, it's part of having, like, this is our only farmers market in town.
Yeah.
So it's a gathering spot on
Yeah.
weekend mornings.
Yeah,
And then
it really
I
is.
think there's something about the downtown, the architecture and everything down here that makes it feel like a little vacation town, also because we're on the side of the lake right here. And so especially on a sunny Saturday morning in the summer, you come out here and you do feel like you're on vacation. And oftentimes after the farmers market, our kids will say, like, I don't want to go home, let's just have fun all day. It gives you that vacation feeling.
Yeah, no, it really is. I love when the farmers market's going on here. It really does. It is kind of night and day in part of the seasons here, where in the summertime, really from the spring, summer, and fall, it feels way more like you're living in a vacation town, a vacation place.
I've said a number of times, and it's just hit me again recently, because it's obviously beautiful here today. It's going to be 60 degrees. This is one of our first nice string of days this year, and it feels like living in two different places, between the darker, grayer, wetter winter and then the sunnier, warmer time of year. It really is living in it's like two different lives to me.
Yeah, no, it really is. You definitely get the four seasons here. And the winter is darker and colder for sure. And, you know, people just aren't out and about as much in the winter, and it just kind of explodes as soon as that good weather hits. And really this week has really been the first week from this winter when we're getting this 60-degree weather. It's sunny, you know, no rain this week. And this winter was extraordinarily longer than colder than recent in the last few years. So it's been a harder winter on us personally, and I think a lot of other people. So we're really, really excited for spring, which officially starts in a few days from now. So we got more of this to come. I'm excited. I'm going to be hitting out a lot more videos for you guys now that it's easier to get out and about.
This area in general, the downtown area, and coming down here, we do come down here quite a bit. So our one day after school, our daughter takes a drawing class at a drawing studio down here, and usually I pick the kids up from school, we come down to the drawing class, and then Asher and I, our son and I, cruise around down here. We usually go get a coffee or a snack at Lola's, which is a little cafe up the street that's actually owned by the mayor of our town. And then we might walk over to the library, which is a few blocks up here, or come down here to this plaza, and he likes to run around. This week, after we dropped her off at drawing class, I took my watch over to a little clock shop over here to get the battery fixed. And I just love that like small town downtown feel where you can run a couple of errands and get a coffee and a treat and maybe bump into someone. Like, that is prime life for me.
That's what I love about living here as well, is that really that small town feel that you get. And I feel like when you're that close to a big city like Portland, it's hard to get. You often don't get that small town feel like you get here in Lake Oswego.
Yeah, I think in a lot of Portland neighborhoods do have that great neighborhood feeling where people like sink into that neighborhood. Coming from Los Angeles, I think more people would work and live in very different parts of town, or spend a lot of time commuting or in their cars, and friends are all spread out around the city, and so it's a little harder just to like tuck yourself into one pocket and get to know it and get to know the people.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. There are lots of other places in or around Lake Oswego that really have that neighborhood feel. And if you guys are looking to move here and want to know more about other options, other neighborhoods, if Lake Oswego is not a good fit for you, go ahead and reach out. My information's right down there. And actually, you know what? Pause the video, putting up my number, give me a call right now, and I can talk to you guys about other neighborhoods that might be a better fit for you. Let's talk a little bit about housing and what is that like, and just to give you an idea of how different the housing stock is here. Because if you're not from here, it's hard to really get a good grasp, I think, of every house is different. Every neighborhood is different here. It's not, it's not a cookie cutter, it's not a master planned community. So every neighborhood and every house is definitely different, and it's going to give you a little different feel. And you put on top of that we do have low inventory. People don't move from here very often. You are paying a premium. If you're looking at a home that's below 1.5, 1.3 million, a lot of them are going to need renovation, especially if you want that bigger home. Probably need to be open to doing some cosmetic updating.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty outdated housing stock in a lot of ways, but that's balanced by the size of the home and the value that you get for your money overall. And so I am not particularly scared away by that, but I also am excited about fixer-upper projects.
Yeah.
But to the point of every house being very unique and different, it just reminds me when we were moving here, we found our house, and our house was really the big draw for us to move here. We knew we were going to get out of LA eventually, but we hadn't really settled specifically on a place or a time. And Aaron found this house and we really fell in love with it. Then, as we were really trying to make the decision, it's such a big decision and we totally get that. As we were really trying to make that decision and I was kind of waffling and maybe having a little bit of cold feet and really trying to wrap my head around it, I remember asking our real estate agent, like, if we don't go with this house, will we find another house like this? And I kind of assumed she'd be like, oh yeah, of course. And she was like, no.
Yeah.
She was like, no, I don't think so. This is a unique house and I don't see a lot of houses like this.
And a big part of that was for the price point that we got it for. We wanted a bigger house. It's 3,500 square feet. We liked a lot of the things about it, how it felt like a Pacific Northwest home, but the inside was very outdated, but that didn't scare us, and we kind of looked at that, I think, as more of an empty canvas to be able to kind of make what we want.
Ask me how I feel about it now.
But here's some of the things we did learn about it that you should consider when you're thinking about buying a home here. Think about, are a ton of trees depending on what neighborhood you're at. Are you okay with not getting a lot of sun? Do you need to get a lot of sun for the winter? The more trees that are in or around your house, the less sun you're going to get in the winter, most likely. So that is something big to think about. Do you need views? Do you want lake access?
How much of a yard? Because
how much of a yard do you need?
There aren't as many homes here as in other places where it's just, a big grassy flat backyard. A lot of the homes are on some kind of slope. Some homes have really more of a deck situation than any yard at all. And so depending on your situation with like pets or kids and how much of a yard you want, it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, and getting a bigger yard is something harder to do here in Lake Oswego, especially if you want a bigger house or with views. Those start to add up to a premium to put you higher and higher at a price point. So it's just something to be aware of. And because there is low inventory here, quite often it's pretty tight inventory, definitely reach out to me. Here, I'm going to put my number up here. If you're thinking about moving to Lake Oswego, give me a call ahead of time. This is something you want to try to put as much thought into ahead of time, ahead of your move as you can, because inventory is tight. So you want to give yourself a chance for properties to come up that kind of fit what you're looking for.
So I think obviously it's great to know that Portland and all the neighborhoods of Portland, the amenities of Portland are super close, like 20, 30 minutes away. Everything that Oregon has to offer in terms of the beaches and the mountains just a couple of hours away. But all that being said, you can have everything that you need in your daily life right here in Lake Oswego. It's not a suburb, it's a small town, and I think that's one of my favorite things about it. I work remotely. I know a lot of people do. I don't really have to commute anywhere. I don't have to go any further than this to get what I need.
And personally for us, having little kids, we love that the beach is only an hour and a half to 2 hours away, depending on where you want to go. Cannon Beach is one of the more popular areas, and they're going to have the most variety of restaurants and shopping. And that's a great place to stay. And we like to get an Airbnb for like a week, like 2 weeks out of the summer, at a couple different times. And this year we're going to Pacific City.
We'll probably go to Cannon or Manzanita in like August, but when school gets out, we're going to Pacific City with some friends, which is just a beach a little further south on the coast.
Yeah, we got an Airbnb rental that's under $300 a day, and it's literally like half a block walk to the beach. So it's really amazing.
350 a day.
Yeah, she's in charge of that part. Honey, where are we going? Okay, that's where we want to go. I was trying to get more of a say in it, but I just let her handle that.
Yeah, right.
That's one of the aspects we love about living here is having all of these amazing locations just a short distance away. Oh, I can smell the ice
The
cream.
waffle cones from Salt and Straw.
So here's Salt and Straw. We go here once a month with the kids, and they absolutely love it. Okay, I hope this gives you a little bit better sense of what it's like living here, just walking you guys through a little bit there of downtown. If you guys are thinking about moving here, go ahead and reach out, give me a call. I'm a local real estate agent. My information's right down there. See you guys on the next one.